This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so this is the same course syllabus which I have shared on group. So I'll start from scratch. Maybe you know already what is automation, why automation and all, but just I start from scratch. I'll start with like what is automation, why we use automation, what are the different tools which we use, and what is the different components of Selenium, what are the browsers and operating systems Selenium supports. So that will be the introduction part.
Yeah.
So today's agenda will be like I'll like walk you through the course content as well as demonstrate few things. I'll execute some script as well, whatever I have already. So see, to work with Selenium, any programming language is mandatory. Like it supports various programming languages. I'll discuss what are they and all in short time. So we'll start with core Java. Okay, scratch. So we don't need to be complete Java developer to work with Selenium Java. Core Java concepts are enough. So these are all on high level. Okay, so I'll cover from scratch like what is Java, what is JDK, JRE, what is JVM. From there I'll start. Then we'll see the very basics of programming, like what are variables, what are operators, then conditional statements, loops, and then basics of object oriented, like what is class, what is object. Once these are all clear, then we'll be starting with the actual concept of object oriented programming. Then like it will take around 10 hours, you can say 10 hours or so to cover complete core Java. Then once core Java is done, then only we'll be moving to the Selenium part, because it's a prerequisite to be familiar with any of the programming language supported by Selenium. So like I'll come back to this content again. Let me explain something. So like you might know what is automation. So any idea what is automation? I think you're from manual testing background. You must know like why we use automation and all, right?
Yeah, basically to automate the workflow or to automate the flow to use the system to test. So for example, to do regression testing, we build an automation pack or a regression pack. So wherein a few hundreds of test cases or a big number of tests can be run by the system automatically in a very short period of time. Basically to reduce human effort.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. So why we use automation? To reduce the efforts from manual testing. So the application is huge and there are test cases in hundreds or thousands of count. It is not possible to cover this regression or sanity smoke test cases on daily basis. It will take a lot of time. So if we automate those flows, it will take less than like 4 hours or around 2 to 3 hours to complete, execute thousands of test cases. So for that reason, we use automation. So like, the Selenium is one of the popular tool in the market from long time to automate web applications. So overall, why there is a lot of demand for Selenium? Because it is open source. Okay, so also it can automate only web applications. So it cannot automate desktop applications. Just small things like uploading file, those little things can be handled with additional frameworks or libraries, but overall it won't support desktop automation. We can automate only web applications using Selenium. So it's an open source tool. So there are also, before Selenium it was Qtp, now it is called as UFT. It was on demand, but all this now most of the market is on Selenium. So we see a lot of other tools like Catalan Studio nowadays. It's also on rise to various tools like this. But whatever tool it is, Selenium is still top. Nothing can beat Selenium because it is robust and mostly used, and also mostly important is it's open source. We don't need to buy any license. So that is about Selenium. So why there is a lot of demand for Selenium? Because it supports when there are various components of Selenium. And also Selenium supports multiple operating systems, also supports multiple browsers. So I'll come back to this shortly. Also, it supports some programming languages. Sorry. So firstly, what are the various components of Selenium? It's Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium RC. RC stands for remote control. Then Selenium Grid. These are the various components of Selenium. So this IDE is just a record and playback tool.
Okay.
So it is available as an extension to browser. Earlier it is used to available for only Firefox, but nowadays it is available for Chrome as well. But in real time we never use this IDE. So we can just record some whatever we want to simulate the test case. We can simulate by recording through this IDE and we can play back. So sometimes some people use it to work with locators. I'll come back to what are locators and all later. But to identify locators, some people use it, but no, we can do it in like Chrome developer tools as well. I'll explain all those things shortly. So basically, we never use this IDE in real time. Okay, so what we use in real time is the Selenium WebDriver only. So our course is designed for the Selenium WebDriver. I'll come back to this shortly. Whatever I have to explain, these are related to WebDriver. This next one, the Selenium RC. RC stands for remote control. This is now deprecated from Selenium version 3. So it is deprecated. So we don't need to use this. Earlier it was needed to work with Selenium WebDriver. Now there is no dependency on it, so we don't need to go for it. So while explaining various components of Selenium, still we can add this because they used to exist before, but now it didn't exist. Then the Selenium Grid. So as I mentioned, Selenium support multiple operating systems and multiple browsers. So at a time when we execute test case, we target whatever operating system our system is based on that system we execute. Even while learning, we target some major browsers. But if we want to execute our test cases on various combinations of operating systems and browsers at the same time, even if we target some mobile browsers as well, then we have to use this Selenium Grid. So why it is used? It is used for parallel execution. See, what is this parallel execution is executing our test cases simultaneously on various combinations of browsers and operating systems. Based on operating systems, if we want to execute a lot of test cases same time on different combinations, then we use the Selenium Grid. But only one system is not enough to work on this. We need suppose say you're targeting like Windows 10 operating system Chrome browser, Windows 8 operating system Firefox browser, then Mac operating system and Safari browser, like that. Even the Android mobile Chrome browser, or else iOS, some iPhone or iPad, some device and Safari browser, like that. If you want to execute all of them together, we need all those systems physically existing. So there is something called nodes. So it will consider all of them as different nodes. We have to basically connect all of them using Selenium Grid and do the parallel execution. So we cannot achieve this. Like if the company has infrastructure, then they can achieve. Even nowadays they are buying this remote PCs on AWS, right? So in that case also we can. But practically now when we are learning this way, like we don't have those many combinations exist, right? So generally only we can ignore this, but because nowadays there are some cloud-based tools, like maybe you heard about them, Sauce Labs,
Yeah,
Browser Stack.
browser
So
stack.
these are also providing us the platform to achieve the same which we are achieving through Grid. So, but the thing is, they are not open source. Basically, if we register with our existing email ID, maybe 100 minutes of no time they'll give to use whatever test we want to perform. So after that particular time, we have to buy license to continue using it. So
Yeah.
it completely depends on client, and when we work in real time, if they want to achieve this, the company has infrastructure, like some companies have their own lab with all these combinations of systems, then they use Selenium Grid. If that infrastructure is not there, maybe if the client is ready to pay for license or the company is ready already having license, then they go for this. Instead of this, we can achieve even using these type of tools as well. So whatever content, majorly people like even to execute our tests on Grid on this, what we need tests written on the Selenium WebDriver using any combination of programming language. So our course is targeted for Selenium WebDriver only. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the programming languages supported by Selenium? So I mentioned
Sorry, Harika. One moment. After the tests are written in Selenium WebDriver, we use Selenium Grid to execute in different browsers or different operating systems.
Yeah.
Is it necessary to install, or is there a separate setup for a Selenium Grid, or is it part of Selenium which we have to manually set up a grid, or how it
We need
works?
to set up. Yeah, we need to set up. It's a process to set up. Basically, the system which has the scripts, all the scripts which the system has, and we have to connect all the other systems as a nodes. So the setup is tricky. Even the setup which we need to do for the Selenium Grid, it's tricky, and we need to connect all those systems. Whatever targeting we are with various combinations, we have to connect all those systems. We have to do the setup, then we have to see whether it is working or not, then only we can execute. It's not out of box support, so we have to do the setup and all to make it work.
Okay. Okay.
So like as I mentioned, to work with Selenium WebDriver, we have to use any of the programming language supported by Selenium. So what are the programming languages supported by Selenium? Java, JavaScript, Python, C#, Ruby, PHP. So Selenium WebDriver supports these programming languages. So 80% of the market is on Selenium Java only. So mostly whenever people want to learn Selenium, initially mostly people start with Selenium Java. So like 80% of the market, and even if you compare the job openings there, so mostly they belong to Selenium Java only. But nowadays there is a huge demand for Python and JavaScript as well. Like whatever we are discussing in our course, it is Selenium Java. Okay, we are discussing. That's why I will be covering core Java. To start working with Selenium WebDriver, the knowledge of core Java is prerequisite. So for that reason, before starting with Selenium, we have to cover core Java. Like as I mentioned, we don't need to be a Java developer. We don't need to learn all the concept of Java. Only core Java is enough to work with Selenium. So for that reason, first we'll be covering this core Java. Then once this is done, then we can start with the Selenium part. Okay, so coming to this JavaScript, nowadays there is demand, I told you, right? JavaScript, Python and all. So why they choose, how they choose this programming language combination? So generally it depends on what is the development environment of your web application is. So it
Yeah.
is not, it's not like there is no ground rule that if it is JavaScript, you have to use this. If it is Python, you have to use. It's not like that. It will work with any combination. So basically, if the developer, like developers who are part of the project, want to execute some test cases, or they want to follow the same programming language which is application is developed, then depending on the no skills of the people who are working on the project and decision of the company, they choose the programming language combination. So maybe you heard about this latest JavaScript, not exactly latest, like they were there from long time, but you heard about this Angular JS,
Angular
React.
JavaScript, yeah. So
Yeah,
we had
so
in one of our projects, we had the development environment was AngularJS, the website. So my team have implemented the automation regression pack with. So we had a resource who developed the automation pack using JavaScript.
okay. So yeah,
My
so there
question
are.
is, sorry.
Yeah, tell me.
So
Tell me.
if it is Angular JavaScript, if the development framework or language or software environment or the environment is JavaScript, development environment, so is it really difficult to use Java in that setup?
Yeah, there might be some issue to handle this synchronization. So what exactly synchronization is? This JavaScript is asynchronous. Okay, so Java
Okay.
is synchronous. JavaScript is asynchronous. Means suppose say you have some set of statements to execute. So Java will wait until one set of flow is completed. It waits until it is done to move on to the next one.
Okay.
So for JavaScript, it is not like that. No, it won't follow that sequence. I'm explaining you on very high level. Just later on we can elaborate when we like it's not. We are not discussing JavaScript, so I'm giving you on high level overview. So if you compare Java and JavaScript, this JavaScript is asynchronous. So if there is something called promises and callbacks in JavaScript. So if it is Angular JS, it must be on TypeScript, which is a subset of JavaScript, right? So, when we execute script, suppose say we are automating the login scenario, the application is based on Angular, for example. So the way it executes, like the synchronization in the sense, we enter username, we enter password, and we click on the login button, right? So like speed, how the browser, how fastly the test case is executing, to control the speed of execution, there is something called synchronization. So there are various wait mechanisms like implicit wait, explicit wait, fluent wait. So that comes under synchronization. So as JavaScript is asynchronous, sometimes it is difficult to handle that part if we are using Selenium Java. Sometimes, it's not all the time. So there are some tools exclusively designed for this. For example, this Angular JS application, Angular or Angular JS application automation, there is something called Protractor. Okay, so this out of box supports AngularJS application automation using Selenium. So this tool is nothing like wrapper around actual Selenium. So see, there are so how it supports these various programming languages is there are language bindings available for each and every programming language for Selenium. So those bindings are unique to each and every programming language which supports Selenium. So this like Selenium, whatever Selenium is there, this protractor is like a wrapper around that Selenium. So additionally, you may have seen, you may or may not know, but AngularJS additionally comes with some additional locators. Like if you see the code of the application which is developed in AngularJS, what will happen? There are some tags like ng model, ng binding. So those kind of tags will not supported by Selenium Java. Selenium address. So additionally, protractor, it will come support with those kind of locators. So
Mhm.
for that reason, also to handle this asynchronous part, generally they use protractor. But the issue with this nowadays with protractor is it's not updated from long time. If you see
Mhm.
their GitHub repository, they are not updating it frequently. So there is some kind of discussion going on. I have seen in LinkedIn as well, like becoming outdated. They are not using. Some people stopped using like that. I have seen, but now there are some various other alternates as well. This WebDriver IO is also like another. No, it's also around kind of wrapper around Selenium, but this also use it for this Selenium JavaScript based application automation. For example, React JS, Vue.js application environment is like that. We can use this WebDriver IO as well. There is something called Nightwatch JS is there. A lot of nowadays there is support with this emerging. These kind of tools are emerging nowadays. But there is one more tool called Cypress. Okay, but this is not Selenium based. Whatever we have seen these tools, these are Selenium based, Protractor, WebDriver, and all. But this Cypress is not Selenium based. Nowadays, it is kind of competitor to Selenium. Like it's not 100% what's a stable like Selenium. Still, it need to be developed more, but it is doing well nowadays. So these are like it depends on as you mentioned your application is Angular JS, might be they might have used protractor or they might have used this Selenium Java. So there was something called WebDriver JS, so that WebDriver JS is now this WebDriver IO. So like I'm not sure what exactly they use,
Okay.
like
We
generally
used Selenium with JavaScript.
okay, so they might have used any of this or
I think it
protractor.
was WebDriver IO.
Okay,
We
it's
didn't use
also
Protractor 100%.
okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, so this is also a good one. Generally, once people are familiar with one programming language with Selenium, they generally do upgrade to upgrade in the sense they try to learn other combination as well. Up to if they get hands-on working on with one programming language, it's very easy to switch and learn. So yeah. So this Python is also nowadays it's on boom. There is a separate code editor available like PyCharm. Now, the Selenium will remain same. Whatever programming language it is, whatever Selenium is there, that will remain same. But the language behind using combination with WebDriver, that will vary. So Python is on demand. There is one issue with the C# because if the development environment is based on .NET, then they do use this C#. But here, the see we need some code editor, right, where exactly we write our code. So there is various IDEs, we call them integrated
Eclipse.
development environment. So Eclipse IDE is there, IntelliJ IDEA is there. So this is for Selenium Java. Okay, if it is Selenium JavaScript, there is Visual Studio Code is there and WebStorm is there. So a lot of these things are there. But for this Selenium, we need this Visual Studio license. This Visual Studio Code is open source, but Visual Studio, no, there is a community edition which lasts for only 30 days, right? So later on, if they decide to go with Selenium C# because the development environment is based on .NET, then we need to buy license of this Visual Studio. Like so generally, if they are prepared for this, then this will be chosen depending on development environment. For remaining things, these are open source. So I have used both Eclipse IDE and IntelliJ IDEA. So generally, people sometimes they do have their own choices. So I want to use this one. I don't want to use this one. Then I prefer either of them based on their choice. Otherwise, I'll start with Eclipse. So if you have any choice like that, we can go with that. Otherwise, Eclipse IDE is good to start. So
We are fine with Eclipse IDE, but in our company we use Visual Studio with C#.
mhm.
But
So
uh,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but our system and our project is not easy to automate and stuff. So everyone, I mean, everything will be developed by developers, and we made it as a customer journeys.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay.
Okay, so do they started like automation using Selenium C Sharp if it is a .NET environment?
They are not there. There aren't any automation testers, but the
Mm-hmm.
developers develop the script along with the. I mean, after finishing their development, they develop customer journeys as well,
Mm-hmm.
because the project itself, the software itself is not automatable. So we can't
Okay.
automate it because of the process. We are in
Mm-hmm.
energy industry,
Mm-hmm.
so changing the dates and stuff, it is not easy to automate and stuff. So there isn't any perfect UI for that as well.
Okay.
So we don't. I mean, there aren't any testers or automation analysts as well. So
Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. So maybe they are working on local, maybe. Not
mm,
sure. Okay. So this is about the programming languages supported by Selenium. So as we are using this Selenium with Java, as I mentioned, maybe from tomorrow we can start with this Java.
mhm.
Then like coming to this part, operating systems. So it's Selenium supports Windows, Mac, and Linux as well. So which one is yours? Like if you are using your own PC or this one, I don't know. Which
Mine
operating system
is
is yours?
Windows.
I
Mm-hmm.
use a Mac.
Okay. So, so like it is not like no, if I share this because Java supports Java is platform independent, right? So
Yeah.
whatever I share, you will be able to execute in Windows and Mac as well. So these are the operating
Yeah.
systems supported by Selenium. Then coming to browsers, it supports all the major browsers like Chrome, Firefox, IE, Safari, yeah, IE, Edge. Uh, like IE, I haven't seen it used in real time, but yeah, drivers are available. I think there is something nowadays. I think they stopped developing supporting Selenium. The Selenium people has come up with something to support IE. I heard that. I'm not sure, but mostly when work on real time, major browsers the target is Chrome, Firefox. If Mac is there, Safari. Nowadays is available to other operating system. Right? Even in Mac we can use Chrome, Firefox. So
Mhm.
majorly used ones are this one. Then later on this, and even Opera is also supported. These are the of browsers. Microsoft Edge is also there. Drivers are available. Like I'll explain when we discuss about Selenium. So overall, this is the majorly used browsers: Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. So this is the introduction about Selenium. So will be once our Java Selenium Java is done, sorry, core Java is done. Before starting with Selenium, I'll be discussing about the locators. So you might know already, now if you see this these are all web elements, right?
Yeah.
This is a button, this is a text box, this is a logo image, these are the links, these are various links. Again, this is a subheading, something like that. So these are all web elements. So to automate any web application, we should find a strategy to locate these elements. It's a key to automation. So for that reason, once core Java is done, I'll be discussing about what are the different locator strategies supported by Selenium. It's ID, class, link text, partial link text,
Mhm.
XPath, CSS. These are the various locator strategies. So we should know how to use them. So once the Java is done, I'll be starting with what are the locators, what, as I mentioned, this ID class. I'll discuss about all those, how we use that. Then we'll be seeing different strategies to this XPath and CSS. It's tricky to use this, so we should learn basic and advanced XPath and all. So I'll discuss about all those things. Then once this is done, see, before this locators only, we'll be setting up our like even when starting with core Java, we'll be using Eclipse. So we have option in Eclipse to create various types of projects. Okay. So you might have explored already or may not. So this is the Eclipse IDE. Here we have option to create even Java project. Click on file new, you see the first one, Java project. So when working on real time, only Selenium WebDriver alone is not enough. Okay. So like coming to Selenium, when we work on any real-time application, we should know how to the first key is identifying locators. Once we are familiar with locators, we'll be seeing some flows like how to create a new project in Eclipse. Even though we use Eclipse from Java stage, for Selenium, how to create a new project which to start with work with Selenium and all, we see that. Also how to launch the browsers, different, as I mentioned, it supports various browsers and all. So we'll see how to create a script before after identifying the elements, we have to launch the browsers, right? So we'll be seeing what are the different drivers available for different browsers, how to do that setup to launch the browsers. Those things we'll discuss later with Selenium initially. Then we'll see how to work with text box, how to handle the radio buttons, how to handle the drop downs. Those all things we discuss. Then we'll see advanced topics like what are the frames, what is a window. For example, if we click on some link, it may get open in different tab or different window. So in that case, how to handle tabs, how to handle windows. Also, there is something called frames. So like if one web page is embedded inside another this web page, then we call them as frames. They use frames to do achieve that. So we'll be seeing how to handle frames, how to work with multiple windows, how to drag and drop elements. Those things we'll discuss from Selenium WebDriver point of view. So when we are working in real time, Selenium WebDriver alone is not enough. So because see, for example, I log in with some credentials to some application, I have to validate. Sometimes we see this message right after login, welcome, and then our name which we registered to login. So maybe we have to validate the name which we logged in is same appearing same or not. So for those kind of assertions, also some flow is there. First we have to log into the application, then we, for example, it's an e-commerce application, we have to add items to cart, we have to do the checkout. So that flow should be in the same some sequence, right? So Selenium alone will not support those kind of prioritizing test cases and working with assertions and all. For that reason, we'll be using a unit testing framework called like TestNG. Actually, there are two different unit testing frameworks. One is let me write here. Testing frameworks. So JUnit and TestNG are these two different types of testing frameworks. Like we can call them unit testing frameworks as well. So these are the mostly used. No, but this TestNG is more advanced than JUnit. Okay, so I generally prefer TestNG. So if you know one framework, other one it will be similar. So whatever terms are there, they do vary, but overall they behave the same. They use the same. For example, before starting your test, you want to achieve something. Once you close the browser, you want to achieve something. So before test, after test, those kind of annotations are there. So the terminology may be different. If it is before test in TestNG, it is before in JUnit, like that. So if you know one, the other one will be easy for you. So as TestNG is more advanced than JUnit, I prefer TestNG. But if you have any preference, like you want to go with only JUnit or something, maybe I can cover that instead of this. Otherwise, TestNG is good to go. So yeah, if yeah, you can take call which one you want to choose. So, like, do you have any idea or preference on this part?
I've heard about JUnit many times, more than TestNG, as we are not currently working on something. So you can suggest us whichever is a better one. Otherwise, we'll go with the JUnit.
Okay. If you ask me to compare and like tell which one is better, obviously TestNG is better than JUnit. But again, if you have preference, you can go with JUnit. Otherwise, I prefer TestNG. But yeah, again, it's up to you to take a call on this. No issue from my end. I can cover both. Either of them we cover. So if you have preference, I prefer like if you want to go with JUnit, we can go with JUnit. Otherwise, we can go with TestNG.
Can we go with one of it and have differences at the last, at the very end of the session, like to make familiar with both?
See, it's not like nothing much we can familiarize differences and all. Better go with one. Like mostly used is TestNG, but no, there is something called concept called data provider in TestNG. So if you want to execute like your test case, if you want to get test data from data provider, or else if you want to get your test data from Excel file, so there is some concept called parameterization I mentioned here. Means this parameterization is nothing but if suppose say you want to read data from external file. So like if you want to read data from Excel, so you can connect your Excel with this TestNG data provider and read data from Excel. So JUnit, it's not up to mark to achieve that parameterization. We cannot use that. So for that reason, this is more advanced than JUnit. So if you know one, that is enough. We don't need to cover both basically. So if you like when you work in real time, the key concepts which will be helpful to you even to crack interviews, all they will ask you what is parameterization. Have you like worked on parameterization? So those kind of questions will be there. So from that point of view, TestNG is good. Otherwise, no, some people prefer JUnit depending, like if they are already know their project, they are using JUnit, then they do prefer. Yeah. So let me know.
Yeah, we will let you know. We'll discuss and let you know which one will go ahead.
Okay.
And Harika, what about the models?
What model?
Page object model or something.
Yeah, I'll come to that. I'll come to that part. Yeah. So here, when your test case is failed, you will get some kind of exceptions. So those all things will cover under the Selenium, as I mentioned here. So like see, when you work in real time, you don't write test cases directly. We'll be using a framework. Okay, so every company will have its own framework. So what is this page object model is? It's just a pattern to write your test case. So some people may say my framework is page object model framework. It's not a framework model. It's just a pattern to write a test case. So yeah, I'll be covering page object model as well. But before that, we have to completely understand the concepts of Selenium. Okay, we from learning perspective will be developing some test cases. Once you are familiar with Selenium WebDriver with Java and write some test cases in normal way, like while learning, we don't use the framework right away, right? You should know to learn all these things. Once you are familiar with all these concepts, then we'll be discussing page object model as well. Also, no, there is some kind of test driven development, behavior driven development, those concepts are there. So there is, you may heard about this Cucumber BDD. So
Yeah.
if some non-technical people are also involved, like business analysts and manual tester also want to involve, like just to see the like track the overall project progress, the test cases will be written in something called Gherkin. It's just a markup language. So for that reason, like we this BDD will be discussed from scratch, Cucumber BDD. So I'll explain what is Gherkins, why we use Cucumber, generally we have to, you might know, like where are you documenting your test cases currently in your project, like while doing manual testing? Are you using any tool or are you documenting in Excel?
We used HP QTP to document stuff. I mean, HP QC, ALM.
Okay.
But
So
currently
see,
we write in Jira directly. We are not documenting and stuff.
so Jira you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah. So whatever manual test case is there, if we are following TDD, that will be input to the automation, right? So whenever, no matter where they are documented, manual test cases are the base to automation, right? So like generally we like when working in real time, either we catch up with the we to have credentials in Jira automation team. They get the ticket ID, then they are like they execute the flow. If there are no bugs, they automate. That's how it works, right? It can be Jira, it can be TestRail. Maybe if not any tool is used, it may be just Excel where they document using some template. So like whatever
That
manual
depends
test,
on the company.
yeah, exactly, that depends on company to company. So for that reason, like where this BDD come into picture is, like if you want to implement this BDD, those manual test cases will be converted into something called feature files. Okay, what exactly the feature file is? Your manual test case converted into this BDD using a markup language called Gherkins. This Gherkin come with some keywords like given, when, then. There are various keywords, scenario outline. So that BDD will be covered from scratch, but that's only after covering test case, how to we automate them manually in TDD without using BDD. Once that is covered, then I'll cover this BDD from scratch. So these are the concepts which will be covered in this Cucumber BDD. Sorry, there is a spelling mistake here. I'll edit this. So what is Gherkins? Like how to add the plugins in Eclipse to work with BDD, what is feature file, what is step definition file, what is test runner, how to do parameterization, how to execute multiple scenarios, what are data tables. These are ones I'll cover from BDD. Then, as I mentioned, we have to know the what are the different types of framework we use. So when working in real time, we will be working with a framework. Again, every company will have its own framework, right? Maybe if they have lot of projects, the type of framework may be different for different projects. So I'll be discussing what are the different types of frameworks, what is a framework, why we use framework, and all I'll discuss. And we'll be creating some frameworks for sure, but not from exact scratch, because I'll be using some code, reusable code, because it's not, framework is not something which can be developed in 2 to 3 days or 5 days. It complete, we customize generally framework as per the client requirement, and we plan accordingly. Like there are generic utilities, there are application specific utilities. So we don't know which application we are working, but there are some common things we need to consider while developing framework, like what is the unit testing tool we are using, what is the reporting tool we are using. So based on that, I use some part of code in framework part, but we'll be seeing from scratch the framework. Like even though I reuse something, I'll explain the reused code from scratch. Okay. So as I mentioned, framework is not something which we cover in a short time. So for that reason, I'll tell you. I'll show you some frameworks. This is a framework. So what exactly we do, suppose say you are working in real time, like suppose you two people are there, I have to share this project with you using Selenium. So if we have to use a build management tool called Maven. Okay, so what happen if we don't use Maven is, for example, I want to share this project with you on daily basis, whatever Selenium code I develop. Even not exactly in our scenario, even in real time, if multiple people are working on the project, so there is, if the Maven is not used, whatever additional tools or frameworks we are integrating with Selenium, for example this TestNG, so we need the jar files, right? So where exactly I place my jar files in my PC, maybe something in the, if it is Windows PC D, some folder name, and then this jar files will be placed. So if you share that project with someone, the location is different in that a person's PC, right? It cannot be D drive or something. It can be anywhere. So he will run into issues for sure. So if 10 people are working, we cannot change the path of jar files 10 times, right? So for that reason, we use this Maven. It's a build management tool. So whatever jar files generally we use, they are all available as dependencies in Maven. So we'll be creating a Maven project from scratch. Then initially I'll start with Maven. So there is no point in using the concept of jar files, because even I have to share the day-to-day code with you, right, every day. So we'll be creating a, once we move to Selenium, we'll be creating a Maven project from scratch, and whatever additional tools or frameworks we are integrating with Selenium, those will be added as a dependencies. There is something called pom.xml, which will get generated automatically when we create a Maven project. So here inside this, we have to add all the dependencies. Okay. For example, I want to use TestNG. I have to add the dependency of TestNG. So once you add those dependencies in your pom.xml file, and you update your project, the jar files will get downloaded and maintained here. Okay. So we don't need
What
to
is a
manually.
jar file?
So for example, I'll show you the Symbian repository. You want to use TestNG, right? So how you integrate your TestNG with Selenium? Either you have to add that corresponding files needed to make this work with TestNG, right? So we do it in two ways. If some build management tool is not used, it's an executable file. No, to add this dependency, whatever things you need, they are combined into this jar file. Okay. So I'll show you the sample one.
Niharika, is Maven repository a paid one, or is it free, open source free?
It's open source, it's not a paid one.
So while we are doing, will we be able to access this?
Yeah. So for example, it's not giving proper result. Let's say if I say Selenium. So Selenium Java. Okay. So if you scroll down and click on corresponding version, if you which you want to target, you can see that Maven is a build management tool, Gradle is a build management tool. So you can see that it is available as a jar file as well. So if you want to integrate any additional thing with your project, either it is available as a jar file. So whatever you need to use from that particular dependency, either you can download it as a jar file in which everything is combined and available. Like you cannot download jar file and place it somewhere in the location, and if you share with another person, as I mentioned before, it will be issue. For that reason, whatever dependencies, instead of using the jar file, we'll be using Maven as a build management tool. So this dependency for Selenium Java, I can copy this and paste it in my pom.xml file. So once I do this and update the project, automatically jar file will get downloaded and added here. So if you want to integrate various things, those dependencies are available as a jar files. It's just a format, file format where the dependencies and everything you need to use from particular tool combined into this jar file. So if you add the dependency, then only you can see whatever corresponding like additional things it is supporting. Otherwise, if you don't add either jar file or dependency, you cannot use that particular tool or framework. So for that reason, I'll be creating a Maven project. Once we are done with core Java, I'll create a Maven project and add all those dependencies which we need to work moving forward. Then even in real time, if you want to create any framework, it will be Maven project only. So like it's a build management. We'll be creating Maven project and we'll be adding dependencies from scratch. We'll be updating this project, like those things we perform. So apart from Maven, maybe you heard about Jenkins.
Yeah.
So like like your project is there, which is created in Maven. You have created some test cases, and if you like before this, between this Maven and Jenkins, you might have heard about GitHub or Bitbucket. So like suppose 10 people are working in a project, they developed individually 3 or 4 test cases individually. Then they want to combine all those test cases together and store it somewhere. Where exactly they store? They store in this GitHub repository. Okay. If you're working in company, if they have their own repository, they'll give you the access to repository. So once we done with this, we'll create a repository in GitHub. And if you want to integrate your framework with Jenkins, it's a CI tool, right? It's a continuous integration tool. So like if you want to execute your test cases on at particular time, suppose say on-site team is there, offshore team is there, they want to execute in an odd hour which is not their working hour for either of them, so they can create a build in Jenkins and trigger based on the time which they need to execute. So even client can log in and see the status in Jenkins. So it's a last, like final part. Okay, once we are done with all these things, this is the final part we'll be covering. But before that, we'll be seeing this frameworks as well. For example, this is the Kumbar framework. As I mentioned, I think I have deleted that one. Let me see. The feature file which I mentioned is this one. This is the manual test case for login converted into this Gherkin scenario using converted into feature file using Gherkin. So we'll be seeing this as well. But once we cover Selenium with page object model and all, then before moving to this GitHub and Jenkins, we can say this Cucumber. Okay. So these are the different frameworks. Also, there is one more thing called extend reports. So if you use like if you don't use any reporting tool, we'll be seeing output in the console only. So let me execute some test case. Let me see if it is working. So this is one test case which was created using the framework. So this is an open source CRM application. After logging in, it will click on something, assign leave and simulate that flow. Maybe some locators are changed or something, or else I might be changing the locator to fail this test case purposefully to see the report. Let's wait. So if you don't use any reporting tool, even the TestNG results also will be displayed in this console. So let the execution done, I'll show you. So this test case is failed. So here you can see clearly if you don't use TestNG, you don't see these kind of results in the console. Okay. So here why it is failed, it is not able to, I purposefully changed the locator to see the report is showing properly or not. I wanted to check something. So maybe I can change the locator and this will pass. But this output here you are seeing, you can see still see the exception if you don't use like see how many test cases are run, failure, skips. These are all coming from the TestNG. Then by seeing this, you cannot understand what this test case is about and all, right? So there is something called extend reports. See, you can see the report is like this. Even you can map your manual test case steps to your automation script, and whenever someone see the report, they'll see what this test case is exactly about. This is easily readable, right? It is similar to whatever your test case is there. So these kind of Selenium will not support these things. So this is something called extend reports. It's a reporting tool. So we have to integrate that one as well with the framework to see this visually appealing reports. So even you can see the dashboard here with the details of system and all. The steps, if it is passed, it will show pass. For some reason, it didn't update it. Maybe check for some report which is failed. Yeah, you can see that it is failed. Even the screenshot it has captured why it is failed. Right? So we will be like seeing how to generate screenshot, how exactly it is like integrated and all for sure. So this is the extend report. Okay, but these details will be seeing in framework level only. Once you are familiar with Selenium, later on moving forward, when as I told you, I'll reuse some code that is something related to extend reports. This tool has its own like process to generate reports. I will be reusing something from their website only. Everyone will do that. We don't need to like understand line by line code of this. For example, there is something called extend manager. So the code which you are seeing here, for example, this one, if this is null, this is coming from their clearly mentioned in their website how it is and all. So those kind of things we can reuse. Otherwise, I'll explain at that time. But if we are moving forward, but this is how it will be framework and all.
So we'll also be able to do that, right? Use create the reports, extend reports.
No, yeah, I'll explain. I'll show you how to do that, how to reuse from there, and what is this extend manager. I'll discuss those things for sure. But
Yeah.
whatever
Okay.
you say, this extend manager, I reuse it from their website. Everyone do that because the guy who developed this tool, he made it available to how to use it. So we don't again need to understand line by line, but I'll explain that part. Sure.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm asking. So we'll be able to once you show this to us, teach this to us, you'll also teach us on how to do it, right? How to open the report.
Yeah, I'll show you that website and where exactly I got this code. What are the different files you need to create, that I'll show first.
Okay.
So generally what will happen is if you are a beginner to automation, you don't need to create all these things. Framework will be provided to you directly. They'll give you the KT of the framework, like they'll explain about framework, what are the different tools or APIs were integrated with the framework. They'll give you the KT of the framework you will be using. A beginner level, no one will ask you to develop a framework. Only 5+ years experience people are there with Selenium. They do develop the framework. So you should understand what is framework, what are the different types of framework, for sure, but you like I'm telling you in real time what is happening. So for a beginner, you won't be involved in creating framework for sure unless and until they do give you the proper KT on that part and all. Just I'm giving you how it works in real time. But yeah, up to some extent, I'm telling you beforehand, for this external tools like extend reports and like mostly extend report, I reuse some code from there. One, even from my previous project, I reuse some code for sure, because there won't be any confusion later. I'm just telling that beforehand, because even I don't know each and every line here related to extend report, because we'll be using the templates provided by them and generating this. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so that is it from my end. Let me know if you have any questions. We can continue further. Even for this
Okay.
SNG or JUnit, just let me know that as well beforehand.
Yeah, we'll
Like
let you
by the time you complete
know
core Java,
next
that's
session.
fine, not immediately.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Anything else from your end? Any questions or something?
Not from me.
Okay.
Nothing for now. So, will you share this video to us? This session?
Yeah. Share your email ID on the group. We'll mail you.
Yeah. I'll share my email ID straight away.
It will be tomorrow because team is
Yeah.
not available now, or also it will take some time to reflect this recording in the platform. So yeah, they do share
Okay.
tomorrow for sure.
Okay, no worries. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.